Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Valerie from MotoPress. Thanks for tuning in. We're almost at the finish line of the year, which makes now the perfect time to look back at the biggest highlights from November 2025. So let's not waste a second. Let's dive in. To start with, on November 7th, WordPress released version 6.9 beta 4. It was a quiet, stability-focused beta. The core team had to reverse one change shortly before the release candidate, so they scheduled an additional beta to make sure everything behaved correctly before release candidate 1 on Tuesday, November 11th. Since this beta arrived so close to the freeze, it also became the moment for a few last-minute feature decisions. Contributors confirmed that the enhanced template management feature would not ship in 6.9. It remains available in the Gutenberg plugin, but isn't ready for core. At the same time, content-only editing has officially been moved to WordPress 7.0, and the updated block binding interface for external sources is heading there as well. These features ran into issues during testing, and there simply wasn't enough time to address them before the release candidate. Before we move on, let's quickly recap what a WordPress release candidate actually is. I mentioned this term a few times already, and if you're not familiar with it, here's the idea. The release candidate is the stage where a new WordPress version is considered feature complete. No new features are added after this point. WordPress 6.9 went through 3 release candidates this November. Release candidate 1 was the moment all features were logged in, the new math block, improvements to template management, editor refinements, and so on. So its goal was to make sure everything behaved correctly outside development environments. A week later, on November 18th, we got release candidate 2. This release didn't add anything new but polished the experience. For example, it fixes issues discovered after release candidate 1, also resolved accessibility tickets. So it was all about stability. And finally, release candidate 3 landed on November 25th. And by this point, the upgrade was nearly ready to ship. Release candidate 3 focused on final minute fixes and, of course, consistency checks and a last review of the upgrade process. And now all eyes are on the official release of WordPress 6.9, which went live on December 2nd, 2025. Even so, not all planned features were included in 6.9, but there are still several highlights worth mentioning. One of them is the improved commenting experience on blogs and posts. It's a small addition on paper, yet a lot of people were expecting it because it fills a long-standing gap in the editing flow. Alongside this, WordPress 6.9 introduces a few new core blocks. One of them is the accordion block. It is good news for anyone who's been relying on custom solutions or plugins. If you want to prepare for the final release, there are already helpful resources available. For example, Justin Tedlock recently published a detailed tutorial on styling accordion blocks for 6.9. He walked through the process using theme JSON, style variations, and custom accordion patterns. A great head start for everyone updating their themes. Now let's move over to Gutenberg 22.0. Carlos Bravo led this release, and he described it as a relatively quiet update. That's usually the case when a Gutenberg release follows a WordPress point release. The focus naturally shifts toward stability, core quality, and bug fixes rather than big new enhancements. Still, there are a few highlights worth mentioning. To begin with, the navigation block gets a small but very welcome improvement. When you create a new page directly from the navigation block, Gutenberg now shows a confirmation notice. It's one of those tiny quality of life features you only notice once it's missing, and now it's finally here. Moving on, Breadcrumbs continue to mature. The Breadcrumbs blog has recently left the experimental phase, though it didn't make it into WordPress 6.9. Since it's now targeting 7.0, contributors are taking a bit more time to refine it. The latest addition is support for archive pages, which bloggers and large sites will appreciate. It's a small detail, but it makes navigation much clearer for anyone browsing a multi-layered site. Another update worth noting is the taxonomy-specific CSS class applied to the categories block. It's a minor thing, mostly for developers, and it removes the need for custom CSS workarounds and gives theme authors a bit more control. There is also a small improvement around fit text. Fit text is a WordPress setting that automatically adjusts text size so it always fits within its container. The problem was that many users didn't realize something important. When fit text is turned on, WordPress ignores your regular font size setting. And that confused people. They would change the font size and nothing happened because fit text was secretly taking control. This update adds a tiny but helpful note that basically says, if you turn on fit text, your normal font size setting won't apply. That's it. It's not a new feature, just a clearer explanation that tells users what to expect so they don't wonder why their typography settings seem broken. Next, the latest comments block becomes more flexible. Previously, you had only show comment titles or accepts. In Gutenberg 22.0, you can finally display full comments, which gives theme authors more control when designing comment-heavy layouts. Speaking of templates, there is an important improvement in the post editor. You can now access global styles directly from the post editing screen, but only if you enable Show Template in the preview dropdown. Once activated, you'll see a small icon that lets you open global styles without jumping back to the site editor. That mental model is still new, so any clarity helps. For theme builders, this also bridges a usability gap. It's now much easier to tweak a template while working on a post without loading the full site editing interface. And looking ahead, this ties directly into the future template management features we expect in WordPress 7.0, where templates can have drafts and safer editing workflows. And there is one more area worth mentioning: real-time collaboration. It's still an active experiment, but it keeps getting smarter with every release. And if you want to try it yourself, you'll need to install the Gutenberg plugin version 22.0 or greater and enable real-time collaboration in the Experiments tab. As always, it stays behind a flag until the feature is ready for broader testing. Now let's move on to Gutenberg 22.1, which was released on November 18th. One of the biggest highlights is the brand new tabs block. As the name suggests, it introduces native tabbed content to WordPress, and if you want to test it today, you'll need to enable the Add Experimental Blocks option in your Gutenberg settings. Another notable update comes to the HTML block. It now supports adding and editing both CSS and JavaScript directly inside the block, giving creators a bit more flexibility when they need custom code right in the editor. Beyond that, this release includes a long list of refinements. There are user experience and design polish updates, accessibility improvements, performance enhancements, and the usual set of bug fixes and documentation updates. And while we're on the topic of new features, there is also something for anyone who works with media in WordPress. Your photos, songs, and videos carry more information than you might realize. Camera settings, recording details, file dimensions, and more. WordPress saves all of them when you upload a file, but until now, it hasn't been easy to show it off. So, what does the new plugin do? The plugin called X3P0 Metadata comes with two blocks. The first is the Metadata block, which acts as a container for assigning a media ID and wrapping the individual metadata field blocks. The second, metadata field, displays a specific piece of metadata. There are almost 24 variations available, like title, camera, orientation, duration, and more. So here how it works in practice. You insert a metadata block, select a media file from the library, or upload a new one, and the block automatically inserts default fields like title, file, name, MIME type, and file size. From there, you can add, edit, or remove fields as needed. This plugin has been stuck behind hundreds of other submissions on WordPress.org, so in the meantime, you can grab it directly from the GitHub releases page. And while we're talking about new tools for WordPress, here's something for anyone who wants to connect with their visitors faster. WPChat is a new chat plugin that makes it possible to talk to your site visitors instantly. WPChat links your site to WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, and Telegram. That way, conversation can keep going even after someone leaves your site. WPChat also includes AI-powered FAQs for quick answers, automated chat funnels to guide visitors through your sales process, and fully customizable chat assistants with visibility rules. There is also built-in stats, so you can see how many chats happen, which questions come up most, and how your team is doing. And before we finish, let's take a quick look at some more new plugins and tools from November. SeedProd AI makes building a whole website as easy as describing it in a plain text. It can generate a complete site in under a minute. RewardsWP is perfect if you want to add points, rewards, and loyalty systems for your users. If broken links are a pain, Internet Archive Wayback Machine Link Fixer automatically checks the Wayback Machine and repairs them for you. And finally, passwordless login lets users log in without a password, using only secure magic links. Super convenient and safe. So that's November 2025 in a nutshell. A lot happened with WordPress, Gutenberg, and a few handy new plugins worth checking out. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave a comment to show your support. It really helps the channel. See you next time.